Hi, welcome to my channel, Turning Hearts. My name is Andrea, and I want to share today some of my family history about Myrtle Elizabeth Carroll. I found her picture today when I was doing some family history, and I really loved her photo. It was beautiful, and the photo that I actually have is black and white, and then I turned it color. Because sometimes the color ones just seem to come alive for me. I really like that. And then I also found another one of her as a baby. I thought that was really sweet. And I asked my dad, because he was here with me a little bit ago, if he knew who she was. He obviously did not meet her because her life ended in April of 1931, and my dad was born in 1946. He wasn't familiar with her, but he was curious as to why she died so young, and I didn't even realize that. So she was born September 28th, 1893, and died of April 1931. And I said, "Do you want me to find out?" He's like, "Yeah." So I came across her death certificate here. Let me zoom out a little bit. And she married a Plant. So Myrtle Elizabeth Plant was her married name. Her husband was Frank W. Plant. And she was 38 years old when she died. Says she was a housewife. So over here we can read. This is so sad to me. She had a pulmonary embolism on 3/26, 1932. Is that what it says? Huh. If that's right, let me check the date up here. Well, yeah, it says 1932, so I'll need to change. I think it said 1931 on there. Anyway, but it said miscarriage of 2 months, died after. So she had a miscarriage on March 23rd, 1932. And then 3 days later, she passed away from a pulmonary embolism because of it. And then down here, it says contributory causes. Trouble at each miscarriage, 2 stillbirths, plus 2 miscarriages. I was just heartbroken. I thought, oh my goodness, this poor woman and poor husband. So she died giving birth to a miscarriage. So they didn't even get a baby out of it. Anyway, very, very, very sad. And she was buried in Marysville, Washington, which is my hometown. So you could find her at the Marysville Cemetery. Her parents were Peter Carroll, and I'm not sure what that says, Armstrong, because that isn't correct. I'm not sure what that refers to. Okay. Then if we go to this, I thought this was her husband. And I was like, wait, why would his middle name be Carroll? Because she was a Carroll before marrying him. But then I realized it was one of her babies. So this one was born May 16th, 1920. And it was 1 month and 3 days old when it passed away. Now, if I view original document, let's see if we can pull it up. Yeah, Frank Carroll Plant. May 16th, 1920. Acute enterogastritis. So he had acute, I can't quite see what that is. If anybody can read that, let me know. Anyway, she did have 4 children. Let's see what this one is. That one just says birth. So that one was a male. What was this one? Female. Male. Okay, another death certificate. 2 days old, daughter. Let's see if we can open that. Open all. Close all. View image. Plant infant daughter. Failure of closure of, what does that say? Okay, so February 19th, 1926 to February 21st. And I last saw her alive on February 20th, maybe. Failure of closure of oh man. Just trying to figure out how to read that. Okay, so after like 30 minutes of searching, I figured out what this word is right here. Failure of closure of, now forgive me, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it says patent foramen ovale. And I looked it up, foramen ovale. And it's a hole in the heart, the septum, between the left and right upper chambers of the heart. But it says they only occur after birth when the foramen ovale fails to close. The foramen ovale is a hole in the wall between the left and the right atria of every human fetus. This hole allows blood to bypass the fetal lungs, which cannot work until they are exposed to air. When a newborn enters the world and takes its first breath, the foramen ovale closes, and within a few months it has sealed completely in about 75% of us. When it remains open, it is called a patent foramen ovale, patent meaning open. For the vast majority of the millions of people with PFO, it is not a problem, even though blood is leaking from the right atrium to the left. Problems can arise when that blood contains a blood clot. But I bet that wasn't the case back then. I bet that was a problem back then. So just really interesting that this little girl of theirs, her heart didn't close like it was supposed to. So anyway, I thought that was a really interesting little tidbit. And man, her heart must have broken. Like to have 2 stillborns and then 2 babies die, like right after they're born. I can't even imagine. I would just, and she did have, I believe, 4 children. So if we look, let's see if we can move this right there. And we go back to There she is, Myrtle. Now I can show you my relationship with her. So, make that a little bit smaller so you can see it. There we go. So it's through my dad's line, through his mother's line, through her mother's line, and then through her father's line. So Myrtle Elizabeth Carroll was a sister. Is that right? Yeah, was a sister of Alice May Carroll. Alice May Carroll was my great-grandmother. So this is my grandmother, my great-grandmother, and it was her sister that lost all these babies. So it would be interesting to know if there were any other women in the family that had this problem. So I'll have to go through and look and find out more stuff. Okay, so I was going to show you, there's 3 children. So you've got Maxine, so one girl, Frank Carroll. He didn't live. That was the one that we saw. And this one didn't live. Nada. Oh, so they did name her. Okay. So her name was Nada. Oh, how sad. So they just had one, Maxine. And I think I have a picture of Maxine. Oh, I might have just put another piece of that puzzle together. I'll have to check it out here. All right. Well, unfortunately, I didn't find any more pictures with Maxine. I remember seeing her name, but for some reason, I'm not finding them right now. So the last thing I'm going to do is just look at the sources we have. We only have 3 here, but Maxine Plant in the household of Frank Plant. Just those 3 things. So, and that would have been in Marysville, I believe. Anyway, we'll have to maybe dig in a little deeper next time. Let's see if it shows on here that she has any other siblings. Nope, same. Just Frank Carroll that passed away and Nada Plant that passed away. So they had 2 other, so Myrtle and Frank together had 2 more miscarriages, and then these 2 children died. So looks like at this point I can only find 1 child that ended up living. We'll have to see at some other point in time if anything else comes up in the records for Myrtle. I'd love to see a picture of her husband. Maybe one day we'll come across that. So that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed this little episode of Turning Hearts with Myrtle Elizabeth Carroll. And have a great day.